Hey everyone, today we have the Build 30 update for the Albrecht's Aether Sorcerer. And this is going to be like any other build update video. I'm going to go through everything and then find a place to fight things and show off the build. Even though it's only like a month since the Build 29, not even a month, it's been weeks since Build 29 dropped, I'm going to treat this like a whole build video. So first we're going to look at our skills without our gear on, and we're going to start with obviously Albrecht's Aether Ray, which is a 16 of 16 and 12 of 12 on disintegration. We want the Aether Ray to be as max as possible because it's our main ability, and yeah, it's still just as powerful, and it actually got more powerful because of a new ability they added in to replace Reckless Power, which is Reckless Power, and they made this an exclusive skill. And if you know anything about exclusive skills in the game so far, like with what the Soldier and Shaman have, you can only have one of them active at any time. And they sort of act like these big just buffs, general buffs to your character. And they actually added in two for Build 30 for the Arcanist. Reckless Power, which is the Fire Aether one, and Star Pact, which is the Cold Lightning one. And they're both really awesome, and obviously the battle mage I use in all the playthrough videos is using Star Pack now, but I just was like, Reckless Power is another flat buff to Aether and fire damage, and we get casting speed out of it, so it was like beeline right for it and just pull points out of stuff so I could get this to 12 of 12. Other abilities in the Arcanist, we want Fabric of Reality also maxed out because of its percent Aether damage bonus to us, and we want Inner Focus maxed out because of the percent Spirit and percent offensive ability, and we want Iskander's Elemental Exchange maxed out only for that energy regen. And with our plus to skills, I think we get up to like level 16 or 17 or 18 or something, and it gets to like 85% energy regen, and we want that. We want that more than either of the abilities, other than what Overload or Elemental Balance provides us. We want the energy regen because we want the beam to be as smooth as possible. All the other abilities on there, though, don't benefit the Aether Ray, which is a little sad. But you know what? I'm fine with it, in all honesty, because it's energy regen, and energy regen is basically a DPS stat for this build. We also have Mirror Varaktes at 6 and Maven Sphere at 6, and Maven Sphere got a debuff, and honestly, I think it actually needed it, because Maven Sphere is like 30% damage absorption and like 16% or something like that projectile avoidance, and it's like lowering that to just damage absorption. I mean, I wish it did a little more, but it's like, this is just straight up still damage absorption. It's like 25% now instead of 30 at 12, and I'm totally fine with that. I mean, it's not like this was it was kind of a little bit broken, but I think like it was a little overpowered, and I think dropping its power down is totally fine. They also took out the casting speed nerf, so it's a good trade-off to me, in my opinion at least. And I threw 1 point in conversion. And you really only need 1 point in conversion because it'll provide you with enough of the reduced, like, stun freeze, petrify, and the slow resist. I started running Electra's flash freeze with 1 point in absolute 0, only because my badge of mastery has +3 to it, and I'd otherwise actually pull these points out and stick them somewhere else. But I mean, maybe, because Electra's flash freeze is actually really good at pinning enemies down. So I mean, they're not wasted points by any means. Also, Arcane Will and Nullification are still 1 point wonders here. You don't really need more than 1 point in that. Though I will note that Arcane Will, once you're first getting into like Elite and Ultimate, and you start leveling up Disintegration, and you'll probably have Albrecht's Aether Ray maxed out by then, this can actually help you mitigate the energy cost, because it's flat energy per second, energy regen per second, and that factored through all of your percent energy regen things, will give you a lot of energy regen when your health is, you know, below 70%, which is actually really easy to get and not have it be dangerous. Nullification is still the workhorse it's always been, but of course we're just keeping it as a 1-point wonder. And we have 4 points in mental alacrity, because when mental alacrity hits 10, the attack speed, or the casting speed bonus actually is, it starts to have diminishing returns as you go above 10. So you definitely want to keep it at around 10, unless you could get it to 20, but even then, it's like, I think the diminishing returns on the casting speed aren't enough to justify pushing it above 10. So we have 4 points in there. I think it might get up to 9, level 9, which is, I'm totally fine with it being at level 9 as well. Because 9, 10 is like where it starts to get kind of as in terms of the what you get per point you put into it. So there's been a little, you know, rejiggering of what the Demolitionist tree has. Flame Touched is now at the level that Blast Shield used to be at, and Temper is obviously pulled down to here. And I think that's actually where, no, Temper was here. So Temper was pulled down one tier. Flame Touch was changed to be all magic. So you just get, you get the flat fire damage, percent lightning damage, and percent burn damage off of it. Temper was made completely physical. So you get the physical and pierce damage, which I think they added the pierce damage in, because the physical damage was here and they moved it over here, I think. Percent internal trauma damage, armor, and percent all retaliation damage. So if you're making a retaliation build, you might want to go Demolitionist possibly. I have 1 point in Flame Touched and 1 point in Temper, because the percent skill, or the plus skills we get will actually jump Temper up now instead of Flame Touched. And I'll point out the boots in a moment. And that flat armor, even though the rest of the damages don't really affect our character, that flat armor is actually really helpful for defense. And I mean, percent fire damage is, you know, why pass it up for just a single point? Well, on top of all the plus skills we have. Now, Blast Shield would be interesting to go for in the future, because Blast Shield, that, like, damage absorption and chance to avoid projectiles sounds pretty intriguing. But it also activates in the same way Arcane Will activates. So it's like, I'm not going to go for it, obviously. I definitely don't have points to spare on this build. But it could be intriguing to use for something that goes deeper into Demolitionist. We have 8 points instead of 12 points in Canister Bomb, because our plus skills is 4, and that'll bring it up to 12. And I think the only change they have on Canister Bomb is it rolls fragments that are 2 apart now, instead of giving you flat fragments. Because before it had, I think I had it up to 16. Yeah, it would be 16. And that gave me 10 fragments. Now at 12, I think it's going to be something like, I think it might be 8 to 10 fragments at 12. It might be 10 to 12. I'd have to actually look at it with my gear clicked back in. And of course, we have 3 points into Concussive Bomb, because we want the stun ability on this. And I do keep this at 8 because I actually want it to be like a good chunk of damage when I throw it. Oh, I forgot to point out another thing. Jeez. Yeah, Devastation is at 5 points. And Devastation, they changed it. And I'll point out how they changed it when we go in the field. And it's ridiculously awesome now. Because it, like, you no longer have to sit and wait for 2 waves to come down. You just cast it, and in the area you cast it, it's just going to just drop these just wave after wave after wave after wave of devastating Aether rocks, Aether fire rocks. So it's actually, like, gotten a huge improvement. And I'll definitely demonstrate that in the field. Yeah, saying that was a bomb just reminded me of it. Flashbang we have at 5, and Searing Light we have at 6. And Flashbang Searing Light is our, like, go-to spammable control ability, because the chance to confuse enemies is huge for mitigation, as is slowing them down. But you also have the fumble attacks and impaired aim debuff on here, and you have the lowering enemies' defensive ability, which means we can hurt them more. And then I have Vindictive Flame maxed out for that defensive ability more than anything. just so it reduces the number of times, you know, the percent chance you'll get crit hitted. So, not a lot of people use this ability, and I do think it maybe needs a bit of a buff, but that defensive ability is actually kind of big for me, just as, this is just my opinion on it, for getting a lot of defense. And I have considered taking all the points out of it and actually putting it in temper for armor, but I'm kind of less inclined to do that now, since temper is very, very physical based. But I mean, I could also take the points out and put them into elemental balance as well for a lot of crit damage, but I'm going to keep them here because I want that defensive ability. The retaliation damage is okay, and the health regen is kind of okay, but I really do want it for just that raw defense it brings to the table. So let's go and flip our gear back on, and we're gonna buff up. So with our gear on, I mean, this is our snapshot for gear. 26 out of 16 beam, 22 out of 12 disintegration, 17 on Escondra's, 20 on inner focus, 20 on fabric of reality. That gets jumped up to 13. We have reckless power jumps up to 18. Yeah, my Ivan sphere is a point lower than where I'd really, really want it to be, but I can live with it. Same thing with Mirror of Aractes, but again, I can live with it. And obviously, mental alacrity is at 9. Yeah, temper jumps up to 8. And flame touch is 5, 12, and 10. So we got those that are technical cap. That jumps up to 20. And yeah, 77 defensive ability is a really nice amount of defensive ability. We got you know, Olzen's Wrath gets boosted up as well. And then this is 12. So yeah, we get 8 to 10 fragments. It used to just be flat 10 at like 16. But yeah, now it's 8 to 10. So I mean, maybe that's a nerf. I don't really think it's a nerf because it's 8 to 10 now, and I think it would actually be 8 at level 12 in the old version, but whatever. It's fine. So yeah, this is what that's our skills. Oh, and I'm also, like, I'll point it out when I get to my gearing, but I'm doing 4 attributes. Since I know this always comes up and I always forget about it, we're going ahead and doing it now. I did a 1-to-1 split between physique and spirit, and I did put some points like 5 maybe in cunning, but you could drop the 5 in cunning and just split them back up between physique and spirit, because that's all you really need to survive is your physique. And then you, like, normally I say a 2-to-1, but this guy is so mana intensive, energy intensive, that he really does need a lot of points in spirit to get his energy regen built up. And speaking of energy regen, we're running very close to 300. And 300 energy regen, like, the beam is still going to go down really, really fast. Here's where I want that 300 energy regen to apply, though. You want it to refill the beam after you've encountered monsters. So, for me, the energy regen is less about, like, it helps in maintaining this, but it's less about trying to counter the ridiculous, like, 1,000 energy, 1,100 energy per second this costs. I mean, that's insanity. We just want we want our energy refilled in between mobs. Okay, so for gear, I am running 3 pieces, just 3, of the Clairvoyant set. I'm not running the full 4 set because I don't actually think I need the full 4 set. It'd be nice to get +1 to all skills, and I actually really like the 10% chance for 100% cooldown reduction. But I like Warp Fire more, and Warp Fire's ability is insanity. Like, 100% chance when we crit a lot. Like, we're bordering 2,500 offensive ability, which means we're critting a lot on the beam, on our abilities, whatever. So we are going to be dealing a crap ton of crits, and that means Warp Fire is going to proc a lot. So it's every 2 seconds, essentially, for us. We're going to hit an enemy with a debuff that drops their fire and Aether res by 50%, which is 50% more damage. Like, before using Aether Fire, or Warp Fire, I'd be seeing crits for, like, you know, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000. That's good. But, like, I've hit 37,000 on a crit before. That's why I'm using Aether Fire. It's insanity just how much damage you can deal with this debuff. Also, please don't comment on the number of deaths or the amount of time I've actually had this character. He's been around for like a year and a half. But I digress. Warp Fire is amazing, and I recommend, regardless of whatever set or gearing you're using, Aether Fire is perfect for Albrecht's Aether Ray. So our 3-set Clairvoyant is the chest and the helmet and the shoulders, obviously. My pants are Leg Wraps of the Tranquil Mind. They are really nice Sorcerer pants, and they can control time. And how many pairs of pants can you actually say, well, my pants control time? Next up would be our offhand, we're running Aldenar's Vanity. And this is the other reason I'm not really like, oh, I need to get my Clairvoyant set complete. Is because, I mean, Aldenar's Vanity just covers getting our cooldowns quicker. Because even though we are an Aether Ray character, it's like, Mirror of Oryctes' cooldown, Canister Bomb's cooldown, Devastation's a cooldown, Electra's Flash Freeze is a cooldown, Nullification's a cooldown, even Gaze of Baranath is a cooldown. So we definitely want things to hurry up our cooldowns. And I mean, our native cooldown reduction as well is pretty up there. I mean, well, 23 is not terrible. But yeah, we definitely want like quick cooldowns, and Aldenar's Vanity really does help with that. And I mean, completing the Clairvoyant set would help with that as well. But again, I really, really, really love Warp Fire. So yeah, we're not gonna. I don't think we actually need more than that either, because like knocking 5 seconds off basically once per mob is huge for keeping things going really quick. So our gloves are Aether Reach, and like I said before, beg, borrow, steal, do whatever you can to get Aether Reaches, because they are so perfect for Albrecht's Aether Ray, for an Albrecht's Aether Ray build. Yeah, I would really recommend them. Just for the stats they provide, it's perfect in every way. Aether damage, energy regen, a lot of casting speed, Aether resistance, which is, I mean, a ho-hum resistance, but it also has a lot of elemental resistance, and I mean, +2 to Albrecht's Aether Ray and Disintegration, and the Aether Cascade ability is actually really good. And you're going to see it in the field. It looks like a Chain Lightning, but it's kind of greenish. And for whatever reason, it seems to happen with Flashbang a lot for me. But yeah, can't extol the virtues of Aether Reach enough. So I'm still wearing the Golemborn Greaves, even though they changed it around a little bit, because it used to give a +3 to Flame Touched, and now it gives a +3 to Temper. And I'm fine with it, because they're great defensive boots. They're really easy to wear for pretty much everyone, because like 500 physique, and I believe they're level 50. So it's like, that might be a little hard to get at level 50, but I mean, ultimately they're wearable by an Arcanist. Lots of armor, lots of flat health. It's got a little bit of movement speed and, you know, % armor. And the big one is the big ones are the 5 physical resistance and the 49 pierce resistance. And +3 to Temper is actually not a bad bonus to get instead of +3 to Flame Touched, because that's armor. Armor is protection. Armor keeps you alive. And our DPS is just insane enough anyways that, yeah, that little switch I actually don't mind. So, our belt is still the Soulbinder's Chains, and I don't think anything's going to ever replace these. They're just another one of those perfect items for Albrecht's Aether Ray. And, I mean, I can think of legendary belts I could go for, but, I mean, I would still probably go with these. They're another one of those, oh, it's got everything in perfect spots. My Badge Mastery took about 6 to make. It's +3 to Electra's Flash Freeze and +2 to Albrecht's Aether Ray. That's why I don't have Ancient Hearts to get that Mogdragon quest done. Yeah, Badge Mastery is probably going to be the best in slot for a legendary medal. And I think I might actually have technically 27 points on Albrecht's Aether Ray. So I could technically respec a point there, but I'm not, because I might forget about it. And wonder why I can't hit 26 in the future. But anyways, yeah, it's like it's percent damage, or percent all damage is what they call it now. And 5% offensive ability, a little bit energy regen. We also kind of need that reduced cunning requirement to use warp fire, because you can actually see that it's 384 before a reduction. So we actually need that 15% reduction to cunning on melee weapons to actually wield that thing. And I mean, the elemental res is nice, and we get increased elemental resistances, so we're running 83 instead of 80. And the prowess ability is really nice as well. So, last pieces of gear, we have the Peerless Eye of Baroneth, which is like an all-rounder, really nice amulet. Just a lot of offensive ability. I think they actually gave it a pass to lower that, because I think it was like 100 and something before. But otherwise, it's got just a ton of nice stuff on it. I have an Eternal Band, and I would really probably want to go for an Empowered Eternal Band, or another good caster ring here. Just something with energy regen and maybe casting speed, in addition to a % damage. But really, like, one of your rings can be open in this case, or you could run a pair of normal Aetherlord Signets. I have one Empowered Aetherlord Signet, though, and actually my Battle Mage got this off of a, I think it was Killing Karaz, so that was a surprise for me. My reaction was pretty much, huh, for that drop, because it was from the quest rewards, of all things. And Empowered Aetherlord Signet, which is +2 to Albrecht's Aether, and +1 to Reckless Power. I mean, that's just more flat damage, or % damage for us. So, yeah, our Aether damage is bordering on 1,000%. Fire damage is 765%. I did get this over 1,000, but I did a change to my devotion setup for this, because I'm not using Arcane Bomb anymore on Albrecht's Aether Ray. Instead, I'm using the Manticore with Acid Spray. Again, for the same reason I'm using Warp Fire. Reduce target's resistances for 5 seconds. That's huge. Like, that is just % damage added on. That, like, is % damage with, like, more to it. Because when you reduce an enemy's resistances, like, those Flesh Hulks, they have a crap ton of Aether resistance. And it's like, getting % Aether damage, like, is still factored through the resistances. This is just taking out the resistances. And that's why I like it and Aether Fire together. So, the route I did, we have a point in the primordial part of Crossroads, and we pick up the Imp. And then I actually had to pick up some stuff in Eldritch to get to the Widow. But obviously we're not doing that anymore. So, getting the Imp gives us, you know, our starter Eldritch and starter primordial stuff. And what I would do probably is, I think you would have to pick up Scholar's Light in order to pick up Oaklane's Lantern. So getting the Hawk and Scholar's Light together will let you get the Lantern. And then what I would do is, that unlocks Law, which allows you to pick up the Crane. And then I complete the Crane, which lets me pick up Torgo the Builder and Yulo, these 3 points in Yulo for the resistances. And I need to maintain the 10 primordial. So we got the 3 from here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then where would my last 2 come from? Here we go. Yeah, our last. Wait, do I have? Can I respec this? Wait, 1, 4, 7, 10. Okay, there we go. So that's our 10 points for primordial to get the Solemn Watcher. And that also allows us to run Targo and run Yulo. So I recommend the Viper for the % offensive ability at the very end of it, and its other bonuses are pretty nice as well. This will also allow you to hop into the Behemoth. And the Behemoth has a really nice plus 400 health and then 8% health on top of that. And this heal ability is actually not that bad for one of the defensive abilities. I actually see it proc quite a bit. I do wish it was chance on attack, though, instead of chance on hit. But, I mean, I can't complain too much about it. The health regen on this is okay. And I actually like having the 25% more constitution. It lets us run longer distances doing things, because our constitution will be buffed up a little bit more. So doing all of that, you should also have access to the Manticore. And Manticore, the poison damages on it and the acid damages on it are basically throwaway damages for this character. But you want the ability more than anything. It's just that handy to have that, and then click it onto Albrecht's Aether Ray. I should say, I recommend completing it because the plus 10 offensive ability and 25% poison acid resistance is actually not that bad a thing to collect, and it will also open up the Ascendant for you because you get 1 point in Ascendant out of this. And I think I'm just out of points at this point, and I would actually pick up maybe the Owl if I had more points to work with than just 50. But the last 3 points I did in the Empty Throne for the Pierce Res and Chaos Res. So, yep, that is the rough devotion tree I went with. I do have this 1 extra point in the Crossroads, because I had 1 point to finish off with. And I don't obviously need the Aether Res from the Empty Throne, so it'd be pointless to finish that off. And like 10 Spirit just doesn't do it for me. I could go for 5% more armor, but ultimately I decided 5% more health is like 5% more time to be alive while you're getting hit. So, that covers the skills, attributes, equipment, and devotion. And next up, we are going to go in the field somewhere and shoot stuff with lasers and blow it up with explosions. Actually, before we go in the field, I forgot to point out my augments. Components and augments. So on our weapon, we have a Wrathstone, and I believe it's like Creed's Cunning, I think is what the elemental damage, offensive ability, energy regen augment is, and I want that for the energy regen. The other 2 things are really great as well, since, we have fire damage on our main attack, but yeah, percent or flat energy regen is just great to get out of that. And I have another one on Eldinar's Vanity. Also, I'm using an Imbued Silver for its Void Ward aura. And I want this because of the bleed resistance, because I just can't get a lot of it on this character. I think like Wraithborn leg guards are an Albrecht's Aether Ray item that have bleed damage resistance on it, but I don't have those. And I don't have another empowered Field Medic's Mark, and I wouldn't trade it out from a Badge Master anyways. So yeah, we got to go with Imbued Silver just so we have positive resistance to bleed. And then Void Ward Aura gives us more resistance to chaos, which is pretty important, especially in the later parts of the game. On our, let's go chest. We'll go main pieces, then rest. So, ballistic plating is on our chest for that 10% chance to avoid projectiles. That was obviously a lot more powerful with Myvan Sphere protection around when it used to have basically that ability. But yeah, it's still great to have just 10% projectiles just not hitting us. Armor and defensive ability, I obviously don't pass up on those. Pretty standard leg piece is Ancient Armor Plate. And actually, putting another one on my chest piece might be better than ballistic plating. Might be. And for everything else, augment-wise, just pick up whatever resistances you need to fill out. In this case, in this guy's case, it was chaos. I think poison and pierce are other ones that he had trouble getting. So I filled those out using augments. Shoulders, Silk Swatch for the pierce and the bleed resistance. Handpiece, Spellwoven Threads are amazing. I don't care about the burn, frostburn, electrocute, but flat spirit and percent offensive ability and percent casting speed, just perfect for casters. On the Golemborn Greaves, we put a Mark of Mogdragon, percent health, health regen, movement speed. Pretty much what you want to go to for your boot piece. I mean, you could also go for Mark of the Traveler, since I think it's a little faster, actually. Badge of Mastery, we go with an Arcane Spark for all that energy regen. Flat offensive ability is nice as well. Anti-Venom Salve on the belt for a poison res. And on our helmets, we actually have a Prismatic Diamond. You could also use a Runestone. This is kind of like the upgraded version of a Runestone. Not that I actually see Prismatic Rage a lot. I usually just miss it, I think. Though, I mean, because I think I'm usually running away before I'm ever near 40% health. But, I mean, it's you know, a nice little addition. On our amulets, we have the Arcane Lens. And it's the Aether Augment from Order of Death's Vigil. It's everything you could want in an augment for an Aether Ray guy. On our Eternal Band, Mark of Illusions, same augment. And on our Empowered Aether Lord Signet, we have another Mark of Illusions, same augment. These are used more for that delicious, delicious flat energy regen than anything else. But yeah, Spirit and Elemental damage are good enough too. And I think someone recommended a Soul Shard, and maybe a Soul Shard could work on one of these, but I'm happy with the way Mark of Illusions is functioning. Okay, now we're really going to go into the field. Okay, I think I'm going to do like a variety of enemies rather than just do a... Oh, come on. You know, build 30 has actually been Go back up. Just go back up. Build 30 has actually been kind of bad for a lot of performance issues. It's my one big complaint with it is it's like... I think they maybe did a little rushing on some of what the build is. So, we're starting with some undead here. And we got some corruptions to kill. And Aether Crystals. Because always need Aether Crystals. See, like, I went to pick this up and it just lagged a little bit. So those are some normal crits. And now we're gonna, like, we got 12, you know, 12,000, 11,000. So we're gonna, I was hoping that was gonna be a big group. That lightning bolt there was our, our Aether Reach. And as you can see, we took a hit there and we got, you know, hurt, but not detrimentally so. Oh, perfect, a big group. So, that's the new Devastation. And it's awesome. It's just like, put it in a choke point, enemies are going to die. You can also drop it. It takes a second, but it's going to drop while you're Aether Raying. So, it's like, it's just awesome. They took an ability that was like really powerful, and they're like, you know what? It's not exactly what we're kind of going for. So we're just going to make it like stupid powerful. If I had like one tiny complaint about it, it's that it seems to hit like a tiny area, just a tiny area by its like own, like this is the circle of it, and it's like I think the old Devastation was a little bigger. But still, I mean, I'm not going to complain about it because it's actually really awesome. Let's go all the way to the fort. Can smack around some ethereals while we're up here. Maybe we'll go to the fort. Build 31 is going to be really nice, not for it getting any sort of like class upgrades or legendary upgrades. It's going to be really nice because it's going to get like some optimization going on. Ugh. That was the character, like, getting, that was the character, like, targeting the platform up there. My headphones are, like, the sound is weird in them. So it's rare for anything to, like, survive the devastation laser beam combo. So we got a heroic Flesh Hulk and a Flesh Hulk Flesh Hulk. And this is where hopefully... Oh man, there's a lot of these things. This is where hopefully our defensive ability destroying abilities will come into play. With our resistance destroying abilities. So those things gave me a huge hassle. Huge hassle. Before all of these upgrades and like getting acid spray in here. So it's like now we can actually like crit them and hurt them. So like just resistance reduction is really, really, really great. So, yeah, that's how to beat groups of ethereals. I was kind of hoping we'd get... Oh, we did get a hero in there. Another hero in there. Now, I'm going to go up to the necropolis. I'm not going into the tube yet. I may record this guy fighting the endgame boss on Ultimate, but I kind of want to concentrate on it if I do it. But I just want to run around and kill some Chthonians because... One, they changed them up a bit, and I haven't actually looked at them. And two, it's like the other big enemy. Like, humans are obviously going to be kind of a little like undead, but they throw crap at you. But they said they're gonna... They said they made some... changes to Chthonics in that they do more than just chaos and vitality damage. So, I mean, this is all humans up here, though, so... It's funny to have, like, everything dead, and then the waves just keep coming. It's like, there's no such... It's like, there's no kill... like overkill. You know, we might run into Benjar out here. That's not Benji. It's something just as terrifying though. Just because they move fast. Oh, I hate fighting on the bottom of the screen. It's my least favorite way, or least preferred way to fight in action RPGs. Yep, another hero done. Quick, easy. You know, I've actually had problems with the Bastion of Chaos with this character. Specifically that, like, Room of Death you're forced to go through. It's like, it's not Plains of Strife, but it's something similar to that name. And, it actually was giving me trouble. And, maybe this guy can actually beat that now. But yeah, those like 8,000, 9,000 crits are actually what I would consider normal crits for this. Like, it's only when you really get into like the ridiculously like the 12,000 to 12,000 plus crits. It's just insane and awesome. Also, I love that Devastation is fire and forget it now. Of course, when enemies get behind you, it's still a pain in the ass. All your damage is like forward of your character. But yeah, I think that... Wait. Nope, that was Ulzin's Wrath proccing. Oh, something was coming. Something was stupid enough to come up here on its own. Okay, I think I'm actually going to wrap that up because it's just a little build update. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I am going to record the Battle Mage next, and that should be up either sometime the same day that this video comes out or tomorrow, the day after this video comes out. And thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you guys then.